All right, folks. So, call to order the Town of Sykesville Maryland Planning Commission meeting of Monday, December the 1st. And the first order of business is approval of minutes of October the 6th, which I assume everyone has read. Any comments, changes, issues with those? Then I move that we approve those minutes. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second.
Seconded by Brandon. All in favour?
Aye.
Good to go with that. And so we move on to our business agenda. The first, business agenda. Do we want to do the county updates first?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do the county updates first, yeah. So, Carlisle, do you want to walk us through these?
Yes.
Wonderful, thank you.
Sorry, I'm just pulling it up. I just realized I don't have internet here.
I have a hard
That's
copy.
good stuff.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Thank you so much.
So, Carlisle, if you want to move to the mic, then it gets recorded properly and all that good stuff.
And the people online can hear.
Right. Thank you.
Good evening. Starting off with just some general updates. We've made some updates to Carroll Connect, which is the newsletter that is emailed or texted to citizens if they sign up for it. Just to make things run a little more smoothly. And now you can subscribe to different specific updates, like the Carroll County planning updates, Carroll County Master Plan 2035 updates, and then Down to Earth, which is a quarterly newsletter. A couple of changes have been made to the Trailblazer routes, the purple and black routes, just combining a few different stops. Purple route has combined Stone Avenue and Carroll Hospital. So now the official stop is Stone Avenue Medical Complex. And if you need to stop at the hospital, you can inform the driver, and then they'll do that as like a deviation because they're fairly close by. So, but no extra charge for those two. Same with the black route has eliminated the City of Westminster City Hall stop, but it can be requested. Mm-hmm. These will all be advertised in the buses and will go into effect on January 1st. So deferrals. Commissioner Krebs has expressed concern that the county code doesn't address the welfare of the citizens of Freedom area. With respect to provisions governing retirement villages, retirement homes, cluster subdivisions, planned commercial centers, qualified projects, and self-storage. So the deferrals will allow us to study the zoning code and offer modifications. So there's been a series of deferrals proposed. So these are specifically for retirement villages and retirement homes, up to 6 months of a deferral. Cluster subdivisions, 6 months deferral. Planned commercial centers, 8 months deferral, and self-storage for 3 months deferral. So on November 13th, Board of County Commissioners voted to send those to a public hearing. The public hearing date has not yet been scheduled.
Okay.
The Board of County Commissioners sent a zoning text amendment for use off the premises signs to the Planning and Zoning Commission for their review and recommendation. The text amendment was introduced to the Planning and Zoning Commission on October 1st, tentatively set for continued discussion on December 18th. During that discussion on December 18th, that's when this text amendment will be public. Board of County Commissioners approved changes regarding energy storage devices and solar energy generating systems in all zoning districts and added definitions. Changes reflect the state requirements. Energy storage, 5 megawatts or less are now permitted uses in the districts, and greater than 5 megawatts are now a permitted use in Ag, Industrial 1, and Industrial 2 districts. The master plan work group reports on housing, economy, and agriculture were shared with the Planning and Zoning Commission on November 5th. In a series of upcoming meetings, the Planning and Zoning Commission will consider them as part of the broader effort to review, update, and recommend changes to the county master plan. And we're expected to receive feedback from the public throughout the process, which is going to continue into 2026. There was a joint work session between the Board of County Commissioners and the Planning and Zoning Commission on November 18th, where we gave an overview of the master plan progress to date. And there was a discussion between Board of County Commissioners and Planning and Zoning Commission. There have been a series of work sessions on planning-related matters. These have all been live streamed and recorded, and they can be accessed on the YouTube channel or the county's meeting portal. There was a meeting on clustering on October 23rd, DRRAs on October 30th, and age-restricted housing on November 20th. The water resources element was sent to the state on November 12th for their review. Planning and Land Management will accept public comment on behalf of all 9 planning commission concurrent to the state review period. Planning and Land Management staff will collect state and public comments, host a public information meeting, and facilitate a joint public hearing of all 9 planning commissions. So, open review period began November 15th. Tentatively, January 14th is the public information meeting, and the 60-day review period will close on January 15th. Tentatively, there's a public hearing date set for February 4th for the planning commissions. I'm not sure if Sykesville is part of that.
Yeah, we are, and I was going to touch on this in the staff or by the town update, so I'll just mention it now. So we are part of that, and as Carl mentioned, they're doing the joint public hearing on February 4th for all planning commission. But I was also informed that if we wanted to just hold our own public hearing at our regular planning commission meeting, either January or February, we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
That way it'll avoid us having to have a quorum of planning commissioners in Westminster on February 4th.
Mm-hmm.
And our section of the water resource element, as we know, is very short because all of our water and sewer infrastructure is owned and maintained by the county, which is different than the other municipalities, but fortunate for us. So,
Yeah.
So I was anticipating having us just hold our own public hearing here for the WRE. I talked to Brenda already, and she said that's totally fine. So that'll either be January or February for us.
Good.
Last one, water and sewer. Spring 2025 amendment included Hampstead, Tawnytown, Union Bridge, and New Windsor. The letter of Maryland Department of Environment approval was sent to the Board of County Commissioners on October 21st. Fall 2025 amendment included Mount Erie, Tawnytown, and Freedom. It was scheduled for certification by the Planning and Zoning Commission on November 18th, and that went through, and that was approved.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any questions about any of these updates?
Any issues? No? Thank you very much for that. It was great. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, moving on to our business agenda. The first one is the meeting schedule, which we have a copy of here starting on January the 5th. Has anybody got any problems with those dates?
I'll just point out the one thing. So, I mean, it was noted in the staff report, but on September 8th is the only non-regular date because that Monday would be the Labor Day holiday. So we moved that to Tuesday, September 8th, but every other date is the normal first Monday.
Yep.
I think I'm out the August one, but other than that.
Yep. All good. So well, I guess we should vote on that.
Yeah.
So I move that we approve the 2026 meeting schedule as presented. Seconded.
Second.
Seconded by Ken. All in favour? Aye, good. So that one's out of the way. So we have a meeting schedule. And the second thing on the Planning Commission agenda is, and I've just clicked out of it, which was not smart to do, but anyway, just opening it again, is the Rules of Procedure staff report. So do you want to start with that? Do you want me to start with that?
I'll just jump in real quick before,
Okay.
I know you got something you want to mention.
Mhm.
But yeah, so right now I think it was just wanted to get it on everyone's radar that at the beginning of the year, so probably next month's meeting, we'll
Mhm.
elect a new chair and vice chair person. As we go, so I put a little snippet from the rules of procedure, just reminding everyone what the role is, and essentially it's just the presiding officer, so that's the chair, or in their absence, the vice chair, or in both their absence, the most senior member of the commission. Basically just decide all points of order and procedures subject to these rules unless otherwise directed by the majority of the commission, in which the process outlined in the most recent version of Robert's Rules of Order shall prevail. I also want to note, too, that whoever the chairperson is doesn't necessarily have to be the one driving conversation, in case someone is nervous to maybe volunteer. Because of that, same with the vice chair. Essentially, you know, the main role is you open the meeting, introduce the agenda items, close the meeting, and whenever we have a formal document, the chairperson or vice chair in their absence would sign it. So again, it doesn't necessarily have to be the chairperson driving the conversations during the meetings themselves. It certainly can be, but it doesn't have to be. But again, we don't necessarily need volunteers right this second. But just wanted people to start thinking about whether or not it's something that they might be interested in volunteering before next month's meeting. Not that Phil doesn't do an amazing job, but you know, everyone has the
Okay, so
opportunity to.
can I jump in just to sort of give background to where all this is really coming from? I turned 70 in 2 weeks, okay? And I'm aware that nationally there is a real problem with gerontocracy. This is a very small micro element of that, but I'm keen not to be part of that gerontocracy. And I think this is a leadership position. It's always been a leadership position, and it should be a leadership position in the town. And I think it should be done by someone who is younger and who has, shall we say, greater longevity in terms of not necessarily life, but probably involvement in the future of the town. Okay, I've raised my kids here, and it's all of that's done for me. And I would like to continue as a planning commission member, but I'm not sure that I would like to continue as chair of the planning commission. So if anybody else would like to do that, or feels that they can step in, I would prefer someone younger to do it. Having said that, I'm not going to leave the town in the lurch. Okay, I'm not going to leave this chair vacant if there's no one else to do it, but I would like someone who's younger to step into that role if that's a possibility.
Yeah, no,
Okay, so that's where we're coming from.
Absolutely.
All right.
And like I said, we don't want to put anyone on the spot
Yeah.
tonight. So it's
Mhm.
more of a just start thinking about it.
Yeah.
And if something needs to be
Well,
interested.
Phil, you just made me feel really old. I'm 73.
Yeah. But I'm guessing you don't want to shuffle over this way then. So that's where I'm coming from, and obviously we'll talk about that again next month. But I
Yeah.
just wanted to put that seed out there, and we'll see whether it flourishes or not.
Sure. No,
Okay.
definitely appreciate
Great.
that. If anyone has questions about, you know, what the role of the chairperson is or what that entails or wants to discuss it with me between now and then, you know, my door's always open. I'm always open to chat
Mhm.
via phone or email if you have questions, concerns before that. But yeah.
Good. So that being said, we don't need to vote on that at all. That's just really purely informational and trying to move things forward. Town updates.
All right, yes, I got a few. So I will start with Board of Zoning Appeals. So first, we had one the other week for the warehouse building on Springfield Avenue, 7452, next to the band shop there.
Mhm.
The property owners wanted to reestablish that building or open it up and use it as for a warehouse use. So that which is a conditional use in the business local zoning district, so it requires BZA approval. It did get approved.
Mhm.
So next steps are they will have to submit a site plan, which planning commission will have to review. It'll have to get historic district commission review and approval as well, because it's in the historic district. It's my understanding, and obviously they're not obligated to do this. They just said that this is their plan, is to have some retail on the first floor front, and then use maybe the back half of the first floor as well as the second story as sort of warehouse storage space. It's sort of idea there. We also have two Board of Zoning Appeals hearings coming up this Wednesday related to Warfield. And I don't know if we've met since we had the last one.
No, we haven't.
Okay, so I'll backtrack a little bit. So we had one in October where that was a zoning variance request. So they requested essentially for a reduction in several of the required land use percentages in the PEC zone. That's available online to watch. There was no decision made yet for that. So when they requested that a memorandum of law be submitted from the applicant's attorney, kind of outlining the argument that they made at the hearing, as well as a response from the town attorney, and then a corresponding response from their attorney again, and then we'll use that information to help inform their decision. But that was the variance request, and then there are two appeals that are scheduled to be heard this Wednesday, starting at 6 p.m. to 7, in case anyone wants to watch or join us. First being an appeal of the Planning Commission's decision, which was the decision that the Commission made when they submitted their updated concept plan for review that didn't meet the land use percentages in the PEC zone, so it got turned down. So that decision is being appealed, and then they are also appealing a decision from the town manager, which is basically requiring certain procedural steps to be followed when for development of parcel B, which is the parcel that the assisted living facility will potentially be on, or got approved to be on by the Board of Zoning Appeals. So both of those appeals will be heard on Wednesday, and I don't anticipate a decision on anything being made on Wednesday. If I had to guess, we'll hear those two cases on Wednesday. We'll take it again under advisement from the attorney, and then we'll schedule a new hearing for them to make decisions on potentially all three at a later date. So if you have any questions on specifics, I'm happy to answer now, or for as much as I can talk about, and then, or if you want to give me a call or shoot me an email if you have any questions about the hearings. But
I'll watch it probably in chunks.
Yeah, like I said, we were starting the Wednesday meeting an hour earlier because we anticipated to go probably till 10 p.m. again. Last one was 7 to 10 p.m. So we wanted to make sure that there was enough time for everything to be discussed that needed to be discussed. So again, if you want to watch it live, it's a 6 p.m. start instead of a 7 p.m. start on Wednesday. Should be a marathon, but we'll get through them.
Good. Well, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
It'll be good. It's it'll just be long, but nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
For the station building, the Lips Grill down the street, so we finally got MHT approval on the plans for that. So we just got that last week, I believe. So we actually expect construction to begin on that project around February. So
Awesome.
it's happening, which is good. It sounds like they'll be able to accomplish most of what they were hoping to accomplish in terms of alterations to make it more functional as a restaurant space.
Good.
So hopefully within the next few months we actually see work
See
being
restaurant.
done down there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm telling everyone it's happening. It's just slow, but it's moving. We have a new phase of the streetscape project. So we had Oklahoma redone and Baldwin. So the next phase, which is going through county review right now, is going to be some additional improvements to the south end of Main Street, down kind of in between where Baldwin Drive meets Main Street and the parking lot for the Divine and the distillery. And then we'll also do some improvements to that parking lot as well, because it's utilized pretty heavily in the warmer months for the sort of block party type of events. So that's going through some county reviews right now, and again, hopefully we can squeeze that work in between the holidays and sort of the spring/summer event season next year. If everything goes perfectly, that's kind of the plan.
Cool.
So keep an eye on that. The cannery building down at South Branch Park. So council did approve basically a contract with a firm to start working on deconstruction of that building. I do want to point out though that nothing is necessarily imminent. There's still a lot of steps before now and anything being removed or taken down, which is going to involve some of those steps in the middle are going to involve public hearing or public outreach rather, to get some input from the public of what could be done there, what people would like to be seen done there. And it could, And if, depending on how things go, there is even a scenario that the building doesn't get taken down, if there is a way that we can save it, we certainly want to do that. That is priority number one, but it seems like right now it might be too far gone. So the direction we're sort of heading in is deconstruction, but again, nothing's imminent, nothing's set in stone, and we're gonna have a lot of studies and public outreach done before we set anything.
So is there a plan to deconstruct and reconstruct, or is it?
The idea would be take that building down and then redevelop it with something that's usable for the town. And again, hopefully whatever gets redeveloped there is something that was came from public input from the community and has community support.
We didn't annex though. That's still Howard County, isn't it?
That is Howard County. We leased that park, so Howard County is going to be heavily involved in this. If Howard County comes to us and says, hey, we don't want that building to come down and here's a bunch of money to fix it up, then we'll save the building, absolutely, we'll keep it.
Sure.
We're not tearing it down because we want to tear it down, it's just the cost of renovation might be more than we could potentially bear. So keep an eye on that. We will have some surveyors out there later this week to kind of start that process of figuring out what's going to go into that. And then we mentioned the water resource element public hearing. So if you recall, we approved sending the draft to the state for the 60-day review process. Again, it's not something that has a ton of bearing on Sykesville in the sense that it offers action items for all the water systems throughout the county, but we don't have our own. So our action items are basically just continue working with the county as they administer our water and sewer. So luckily for us, it's pretty straightforward. But we are required to hold a public hearing in case the public has any comments before we approve that draft formally. And the last thing I'll mention, I did get a call from Kirsten, one of the development review of the county. She mentioned that the Schoolhouse Road subdivision, those 5 lots, we approved the preliminary plan, I think it was back in June. They're working on creating a bio number and getting their final plan process started. So I know that one's been in the works for a while. It does seem like it's moving into the final.
Do we have to look at that one more time?
Yes, we'll have to review that again. We'll have to look at the final plans and make sure it's still consistent with everything that we've seen and approved previously. But that's one that's been going on for a while, so it would be nice to see that one continuing to go. Other than that, I think that's all I got for updates. Hope everyone had a nice, happy Thanksgiving.
Indeed. Yeah. Thank you, Kevin. Any questions or issues? No. Then the next thing on the agenda says adjourn. I move that we adjourn.
Well, second.
Seconded by Brendan. All in favour? Thanks, folks, for coming, and we'll see you next month.
Cheers.
All right. Sounds like a plan.